Time for another edition of No Frills, No Shills. Received a question back this morning after one of my check-ins this past weekend from a relatively new client. She's only been with me, been coming up for 5 weeks now, and we're implementing her first deload and diet break. And she's asked me, quite rightly so, she knows what diet breaks are, I've explained that to her. And now she's asking me what to expect from the diet break, and I'm going to cover that now. So, with the diet break already being explained in a previous question and answer video, going through now with what to expect in a diet break. And so my client basically came to me and said, she's on a deload week this week, so her overall energy expenditure will be down because we've reduced the volume, but at the same time we're on a diet break as well, and we're increasing her calories. So essentially, less calorie expenditure, more calorie intake. Should she expect to gain weight? And the answer is, it depends. As infuriating as that sounds. In the most part, my clients during a diet break will maintain their weight, and some will lose weight. A few will gain, but not gain much, and it won't be fat that they're gaining, and I'll go into that more now. So there are various mechanisms at play within this, and again, I don't want to go too in depth. I like to try and keep it as layman's terms as possible. So when we've been dieting for an extended period of time, we start to build up a certain amount of fatigue within the body, both mentally and physically. Now with that fatigue, kind of kicking in and gradually accumulating over the weeks, so does the stress on your body, which in turn starts to increase your cortisol levels, which in turn will start to increase water retention within the body. Again, depends very much from person to person how much this is, and how deep a calorie deficit they've been in, how long they've been dieting, etc., etc. So when we implement the diet break, what we tend to find is the additional nutrients and calories that come in help to bring about a greater level of recovery and reduce systemic inflammation within the body. So even though that their calorie expenditure has increased and their calorie intake has increased, but their expenditure has reduced, what you'll often find is a net effect happening of cortisol coming down lower, water retention starts to dissipate, and the weight maintains a net level balance. Sometimes, again, depending on the extent of the dieting phase, you'll actually see people start to lose weight during this period. And again, that could be because they were holding a lot more water retention than previously anticipated, and the increase in calories has provided a real positive benefit to the body in that regard. Another side to it is, although, again, with a deload happening at the same time, the way I implement it often with a diet break, although there is reduced volume during the training week because of this, the client has more calories, which provides them more energy. They feel more rested, more recovered, and they're actually able to put out a higher intensity of training, even during the reduced volume that they've got, which then very much mitigates the calories that they would have burnt. Does that make sense? So they would have. Let me start that again. So the increase in calories provides them more energy. They're then able to train at a higher intensity during that deload week. So even though their volume is less, their actual calorie expenditure almost mirrors what they would have done in previous weeks with higher volume but lower calories. So again, they've mitigated that loss or that differential there between the 2 weeks, and then you add that together with the water reduction from cortisol levels lowering, and all of a sudden you're actually at a negative, so you're actually losing weight. And in instances like that, I will often run a diet break slightly longer and allow the body more recovery, especially if we're still losing weight. Once that plateaus, I'll then resume with the dieting phase again. Other things to consider here is that you may gain some weight during this phase. Now that's, again, is very dependent on the person, but the weight gain itself will be lean mass, it won't be fat mass, and that will be down to you're eating more food, so there's more volume weight of food within the body. If you're choosing a higher carb approach, which the vast majority of my clients do, those carbohydrates have the glycogen is stored within the muscle cells, the muscle bellies, more glycogen being stored, more water pulled into the muscle bellies, along with that creates slightly more weight on the scale as well. What you'll often find though with that is that although you've got that increased weight, because you've had the water reduction from lower cortisol levels and your muscles are now fuller from the increased carb intake and the water that those carbs hold, is that you actually look leaner, tighter and better, even though you might be a kilo, 1.5, 2 kilos over where you were previously. Again, so another, kind of one of those things where the scale isn't the be all and end all, and you have to take the whole bigger picture into it. So your performance, your nutrition, the type of foods you're eating, and everything along those lines. So with a diet break, what you can expect is, it depends. You may maintain your current weight but look leaner and tighter. You may gain a little bit of weight but look leaner and tighter, or you may even lose some weight and still look leaner and tighter. So that's really where and what you can expect from a diet break. Say individual variances will apply across the board, but in the most part, the vast majority of my clients tend to lose weight or maintain weight during the diet break period. Cool, until next time, catch you soon.